All right, guys, welcome to the show. Welcome to AJ Confidential. Lovely to have you guys here. You guys are fantastic. You guys are awesome. And you know what's more awesome than that? The guest that we have on panel today, Alex Rogers. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. So excited to be
Man,
here.
how's your day been so far?
It's good. It's good. Love being back in California. Sunny weather, good food. It's nice.
Well, Alex, tell us who you are. Like, you just got started with building your brand and you're on your journey. Like, tell people who are you and what made you want to show and tell people your story.
Yeah, it kind of just happened with the storytelling, but background, I'm from Vermont. I grew up there, left around 21, went to the Navy, became a SEAL, was a SEAL for 12 years. I got out last May 29th. And then since then, I've kind of learned to stretch my wings and started getting out there a little more. And, people started wanting to hear my story and get to know me a little bit more. And as I've grown and done that, I've competed a lot in Jiu-Jitsu, so I have that outlet. I've done some podcasts, so I have that. And then just the veteran side of things kind of ties everything together. So then I started a coaching company or coaching brand, and then I have my personal dreams and goals of being a professional jiu-jitsu competitor. And that's just kind of where we're going right now. We're just building every day.
Talking about jiu-jitsu, you had a competition yesterday.
Yeah, I did the ADCC Open.
How did that go for you?
Not as good as I had hoped, but it wasn't bad. A lot of lessons learned on and off the mat. It was a big travel day. Need to refine my refueling and hydration and rest, because I was probably traveling for like 8 or 9 hours, but
Yeah,
not
that's
giving
a lot
excuses. But that's something I got to work through. But it was good. I had a great day regardless.
Besides your jiu-jitsu, besides like your transitioning phase, what does your life look like now that you're out of the military?
It's pretty hectic, honestly. I'm trying to get some more structure. Notice that's something I've been, missing the last couple months is structure. I still have the discipline and the motivation and the fire, and the competitiveness and in all facets of life. But just trying to get some structure back. I've got 2 kids. We have 50-50 custody, but they live with their mom right now because they're in school. So just trying to work around that. And then when I'm not with the kids, I'm usually at the gym training at least once a day, sometimes twice a day. When I'm not doing that, I'm either kind of just hanging out and building or working through stuff that I'm trying to build, and grow.
You're talking about your kids, and I was actually reading about you. You mentioned this thing about emotional turn offs, as in you don't feel certain things, or you never felt a thing or an emotion when you were supposed to. Did that happen when you had your kids?
Yeah, I don't know, when I was active duty, I didn't really have a whole lot of emotions. I kind of was just a bolt in the machine, and was just super fixated on just doing my job. The kids helped a little bit with that, but it was still a struggle. I was just emotionally numb most of the time. And that's something I've been working through as well. I do therapy, do a lot of reflection, and some other stuff too. So it's coming out, but it's definitely something that's caused some issues in the past with relationships.
We'll definitely get into that after after a little bit. But before, let's touch bases on some of the like myths and let's bust them out.
Sure.
What weapon do you think in the SEALs is overrated because people think like, oh, this is really good, but it's not really that good?
Overrated? I don't know. I mean, I never used a whole lot. I just, when I first joined, we had the Sig Sauer P226. I love that gun. I was really, really efficient with it. I was really fast with it. And then they switched the Glock 19. Wasn't really a fan of it because I got big hands, so I didn't like the feel of it. Um, and so, but it's still a good gun. I have both still. Um, and then there's just the regular M4 10-inch or 14-inch uppers that we use. And I thought they were great. Um, and then I carried a 48 for a while too, Mark 48. And I mean, honestly, everything I use, I feel like served a great purpose. Um, there was a different gun that came out. I tested it a little bit. It was a SIG rifle. I forget. It was like a Surge, I think, suppressed upper receiver group. And it looked cool, but I mean, I only used it at the range, so I didn't know too much. Besides, it got super hot. But the guys that I knew that tried it out, especially doing like water-based stuff, said it was a piece of crap. So
I see.
I would say I would guess that, but I can't really say because I didn't experience it too much outside of the range.
Got you. I have a following question too.
Mm-hmm.
What countries did you were deployed to?
Iraq, Syria, Saudi Arabia, Oman, Israel. That's pretty much it. And then I went to Germany too.
Why do most of these Middle Eastern countries rely on AK-47 as their primary gun?
I don't know the reason why, but they're super resilient. Those guns, you can like throw them in the mud, throw them in sand, and they'll still shoot. Like I've seen guns that are just completely rusted out, and you load them up and they still shoot. I wouldn't shoot it, but like I've seen like the partner force.
Is it
shooting 'em.
accurate? Like, is the accuracy of that gun? Or there are better guns out there that you'd be like, okay, if I had a choice, I wouldn't pick this. Like, if I'm going out, let's say deployed, there wouldn't be any backup, no support, and I want something that will last me long time.
Mm-hmm.
What gun are you taking?
What gun am I taking? I mean, I'd take a 5.56 like M4, probably a 14-inch. I'm pretty comfortable with that.
Yeah.
And you can reach out probably 500-600 yards with the right optic on it. I remember I had walked it in, but I was up on some elevation shooting down, but I did hit a steel target. I think after like my fourth or fifth shot at 1,100 meters.
Yeah.
With a 5.56, which was
okay.
pretty cool.
For that.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's insane. What would be? Oh, sorry about this one. Let me turn it off. What would be your piece of gear of choice that would make you feel invincible as a one-man army in the middle of a desert?
In the middle of a desert? Ooh, I don't know.
Anything you can pick of your choice.
Yeah.
That would make you feel invincible. What guns, what knives, what scopes?
Oh, like multiple things?
Like whole gear.
Yeah.
Gear of your choice.
I mean, I definitely want, some sort of backpack. I have an Osprey backpack now that I really enjoy. So I'd have that. I'd have some water in there, of course. Some electrolyte packets. Like again, probably the 5.56 for 14-inch with a decent optic on it. Gotta have my night vision for sure.
Mm-hmm.
A knife or a multi-tool, maybe both actually, a fixed blade and a multi-tool. And then, just some breathable clothing, really. I don't know, probably something like that.
Okay.
And then maybe a med kit of some sort.
Med kit, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think is stronger mentally, a professional MMA fighter or a Navy SEAL?
I don't know. I mean, I train with a lot of professional MMA guys now, and I'm very impressed by all of them. I've, honestly, unfortunately, met some Navy SEALs that I think they kind of lost the edge that they had, maybe going through buds and SQT, and when they were a new guy, and they get older and they get a little softer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I honestly, I would have to say just the everyday Navy SEAL versus everyday MMA fighter. I'm gonna go with the MMA fighter.
MMA fighter.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
As long as they're active, anyway. Yeah.
So
Like active fighter.
So active Navy SEAL, active MMA fighter. MMA fighter takes it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna get some hate from that. But yeah,
Okay.
That's what I think.
It is what it is. That's your opinion.
Yeah.
Well, Alex, I heard that you said somewhere that you weren't supposed to be a Navy SEAL. What happened?
That wasn't supposed to be a Navy SEAL?
Yeah. Something changed. We both know. But what happened? Like, why did you feel like that you weren't supposed to be this? But there was a moment in your life that just clicked, and you're like, "Yep, I'm gonna go ahead to this direction."
I don't know. I mean, there was a brief time after high school where I was super lost. Did some nefarious things. Was not a good person. Had no true direction or goal in life. And then something bad happened and kind of reset me. And then I kind of revisited the idea of the military. First was the Marine Corps. Couldn't do that because I had a wrist tattoo. And then I decided I wanted to, still join. So I tried to do on the Army, but I wanted to do something special. So I guess they didn't have the 18 X-ray program at the time. But I wanted to be a Green Beret. They said I couldn't do that like right off the street. So then I was like, all right, what about like a Ranger? And they're like, no, you got to be infantry for 5 years or make E5. I was like, all right, well, I don't really want to do that, but okay. So I took the ASVAB with them, did everything, and then that's when I was leaving the recruiter's office in Barrie, Vermont, and I pushed on the door, and something just came over me. I stopped, turned around, and looked, and just locked eyes on the wall of pamphlets, and I locked eyes on the Navy SEAL one, and I picked it up, opened it up, and was just like, these are real, like I didn't know these were like real people.
Yeah.
I thought this was like a movie thing or whatever. And I went out in the parking lot. I called my best friend at the time and was just like, yo, I'm going to be a Navy SEAL. And he was just like, okay, sure. I was like, I'm going to do it. And then that was kind of, I locked my sights on that and went after it. It still took a little while, but, I did it, obviously.
Yeah.
And that gave me that direction and, that discipline, and changed really how I viewed a lot of things and how I worked at stuff.
Well, definitely that tells me that something has to happen to the point where a switch has to flip. Let's talk about what kind of kid were you growing up in Vermont?
Well, I grew up literally in the middle of the woods, Stockbridge, Vermont. If you want to Google map that later, like you'll see it's just trees and everything, with houses dotted through the trees. So, I spent a lot of time really at home when I wasn't at school with my brother and I, outside. I did play some video games too, but I was outside a lot. I like sports a lot too. I played soccer and basketball since like 6th grade. Then throughout the rest of my early education days, I felt like I was really social. I like to talk to people and meet people, and I was really kind of outgoing and bubbly. I was still shy, really, but I loved like talking to people and making new friends and stuff. And yeah, I don't know. That's kind of the main theme of it. I had a good childhood though. I had, a good relationship with my parents for the most part.
How does a normal kid like yourself became a drug dealer?
Well, I didn't have like a job really.
What age was this?
When I started selling drugs, 19. maybe 18,
Mm.
18. Yep. Um, actually, I just told my mom this story for the first time ever, like a couple weeks ago. So I had a cast on my left arm above the elbow, so it was locked at like a 90, and so I couldn't do anything that I wanted to do. So I ended up, but I needed a job after I
Mm.
graduated high school. So I started working at a hotel and resort in Woodstock, Vermont, um, and it was like $8 an hour or something. And I wasn't the best employee, because if I don't really love something, I don't do the best that I should, especially back then. But I worked there, um, and I wasn't really making any money. But my dad had bought me a pistol for like my graduation, or shortly after. I wanted a pistol,
Mm-hmm.
and so I just had that. And then my brother, um, blue collar, real hardworking, super innovative, creative guy, and he one of the things he used to do was buy vehicles to either drive around for a little bit and then flip them, sell them, or he would just bring them to the scrapyard. He did a lot of scrapping. That was kind of like his two things that he would do as like a 17-year-old. It was pretty impressive. But anyway, I say that because that's how I got into this. So
Mm.
he had a car he wanted to look at. So me, him, and our best friend drove down to check this car out. Um, it was a junk, but it had cool rims and like a good speaker system. So that was like what enticed him to check it out. But we were there. We're like, all right, we don't want this, and we were gonna leave. And then the guy who was selling it was like, hey, would you guys mind hanging out for a little bit? Because there's some guys coming up from Springfield, Mass, that seem pretty sketchy. Would you just like hang out until they leave? We're like, yeah, sure. And we're young and dumb and think we're cool. And like we'd been skeet shooting earlier that day, so like we had some like shotguns with us, and then I had like my pistol. And we're like, yeah, we got you. Like we got guns and stuff. And so we like showed him the guns, and he thought it was cool. And then he saw the pistol. He's like, all right, I want to talk to you about that after. These guys showed up. There was like four of them. They were definitely sketchy. Glad we were all there. I don't know what would have happened to him if we weren't. Um, but yeah, anyway, they left. And then he was like, let me see that pistol again. I was like, okay. So I show him, and he's like, can I touch it? And I was like, sure. Yeah, I don't care. And he went inside, grabbed a bandana, and was like holding it. And I was like, yo, like, you're good. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to go kill somebody and then frame you for it. He's like, I don't know. I'm just not really doing that. He's like, do you mind if I take a picture? I was like, for what? He's like, my brother might want to buy this. So I'm like, oh, I can make some money probably. Cool. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, sure. Go ahead. So he does, sends it to his brother. His brother texts back like he wants to see it and like meet me. So I was like, okay, cool. Got his number. Like a couple days later, I ended up meeting his brother in a parking lot at a grocery store, and he like gets in my car, and super nice guy, just seemed cool, and he's like, "Yep, I want it," and I think I said I wanted $300 for it, because it was a high point. It was a super cheap pistol. It was like 150, $160. So
Mm.
I was like, this is easy, like 100% return, like
Yeah.
cool. So then he's like, I'll give you 250 and then like some ecstasy pills. I was like, what is that? And to me, that was just like another thing that's like, these aren't real. This is like a movie thing. I'd barely even seen like marijuana at this point. And I was like, well, long story short, I was like, I'll shorten it. He's like, I ended up taking $250 and 4 ecstasy tablets from him.
Mm.
I was like, whatever, I still made money. He's like, you could sell these for like $30, $40 a piece. I was like, yeah, right. He's like, trust me, you can. He's like, I'm like, all right, sure, well, I'll take them. And before we got out of the car, he said, you're going to sell these today, and you're going to call me tonight. I was like, okay, sure. Well, I went back to my hometown, to the place like everyone hung out. We all hung out like in this parking lot, the P lot, we called it. And I'm just like, I have ecstasy for sale. I have ecstasy for, just yelling it out. And people are like, yo, what are you doing? I'm like, this isn't, I don't know. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Trying to make some money.
Yeah.
And finally, one of my friends, she was like, well, I'll do it. I'll buy it. How much? I was like, $40. She's like, okay, here you go. Give me, two 20s. I was like, cool. But then she's like, I don't want to do this by myself. So my friend Matt, who was the guy who came down to, look at the car that time, he was like, well, I'll do it with you. So they split it in half. It's this little tiny pill. They split it in half and took it. And then probably like 15, 20 minutes later, the two of them were having the best time of their life, like ever. She had a big lifted truck, and she was little, and she fell out of it, smashed her face, and she had cystic fibrosis. She's dead now, unfortunately.
Oh.
But she was just a really fun person in general. But people went over like, "Are you okay?" Like, you making sure she's all right, because they knew she had this condition, and they like roll her over, and she is just laughing hysterically. And then he starts laughing. There was like a dumpster full of like old wood and stuff, and they were doing like a remodel of this old church. And he's like climbs in this dumpster and just starts like jumping around. And people are like, what are they doing? Like, what's going on? And because we were all like, 18, 19, 20 years old. Like, no one really was drinking or anything. And I was like, I sold him ecstasy. And then somebody else was like, well, I want one. And like, how much? I was like, $40. He's like, okay. So I was like, I just made $80 in like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I took my little track phone, flip phone, drove up on the hill where there was service, and I call this guy, Gus. And he answers. He's like, I knew you'd call me. And I was like, I was just like, yep, I did. When can we meet? And he's like, all right, I'll get back to you. We'll figure it out. And then I met him probably a couple days later, and I took the $250 he gave me plus the $80 that they gave, and I just was like, what will this get me? Because we're not trading anymore. Like, I'm buying them from you. I don't remember honestly how many I got, but I got a bunch. And then that's kind of how I started getting into like selling drugs. I still worked at the hotel. But then I just started selling drugs. That's how it started. And from there, like, I was still like that happy, bubbly kid who wanted to talk to people and be friends with everyone. And I was just good at it. Like, networking I wouldn't say I was a very good drug dealer. I was too nice. It was like giving deals to people I wanted to be friends with or wanted to like me at the time. Because I think I was pretty socially insecure. I just wanted everyone to like me. But anyway, and I started meeting people, and I started selling these things, and then it kind of grew, and then I got bigger and started selling more stuff.
For how long did you sell drugs for from this point onwards?
So that was probably June or July-ish of 2010. And I think the thing that really changed, like, the way I looked at things, is when I kind of put a stop to it, was February of 2011. So not really that long.
Okay.
Yeah.
And from the point that you started selling drugs to the point of car chase, what happened?
Yeah, like, it started off just selling like a party drug, just selling ecstasy. And then I, started to meet more and more people, and I started like, hey, can you get this? Can you get that? So I started selling. I didn't want to sell weed because like all my friends sold weed. And I didn't want to like compete with them, and I didn't really smoke weed. I didn't really do anything. I just wanted to make money. But then I started with the ecstasy, and then I don't know in what order it happened, but at the high point of it, I was selling cocaine. I was selling Percocet, Oxycontin, Adderall,
All right,
mushrooms.
keep bringing it on.
And pretty much any drug I could get my hands on, I would
Besides
sell.
weed, yeah.
I did end up selling weed at one point just because he gave me like a really good deal on a pound of weed. But I just was like, I don't know, that wasn't exciting to me. I don't know. I thought it was like cool to sell drugs at the time.
Yeah.
Like my goal then was to like be like Scarface. I was like, I want to be like the biggest drug dealer in Vermont.
That's what's up.
And so that's what I started to do. And, you know, we've all seen the ending of that movie. And that's,
Did you miss that part?
I didn't get to that part. I cut it off before then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got too big for my britches, I guess. And I met some sketchy people. And then, as you alluded to, there was a car chase. Some people tried to rob me. And I was like, no one does this to me. And we got in a fight, got in a tussle.
What was the story like? So he pulled that gun on you?
Yep. So I was I met in this parking lot. I was in the front seat. My friend Matt, who, you know, he was always there in my earlier days. He's sitting in the back seat, in the back passenger seat, and I had super tinted windows. So I pull in, I back in, and this Suburban comes in, kind of, and points the lights at the car. They couldn't have seen him apparently because they didn't even notice he was there. This dude opens the door, so I can't really see a whole lot because the lights are pointing straight in. And so I was like, "Hey, what's up?" Like, he was a mutual friend of some friends of mine.
What ethnicity was he?
He's white.
Okay.
Yeah. And then he like gets in and pulls out this freaking massive, like, I don't know if it was a 44 or what, but it's just like this big heavy gun. And my dad had a 44 Magnum Ruger Red Hawk, so I've shot it, super heavy, and I see this big ass gun just pointed at me. Hammer's not cocked back or anything. I was just like, "What are you doing?" Like, we know the same people. Like, we have like our friend groups are, you know, intertwined. Like, what are you doing? And he's like, give me the drugs and the money. And I was like, well, I don't have them. He's like, what do you mean you don't have them? Like, I don't have them. He's like, well, why would you meet me here? I'm like, okay, I have them, but they're in the trunk. He's like, well, why would they be in the trunk? I was like, in case something like this happens. I don't just hand it over to you. They weren't there. They were literally right next to me. And I had a bunch of cash in the back seat in like a paper bag. But so I was now, and even then I was like, oh, I'm like holding my cool pretty good. This is good. Nice. And then it was winter. Like I said, it was February, so it was super cold. And I had like my jacket on, and he starts like grabbing my jacket. I was like, dude, I don't have anything. He's like, give me your wallet. I was like, I don't have it. Like, I just got this jacket back in the mail. My grandparents mailed it to me because I was just with them in Ohio, which was true. And but my wallet was like right there, but he didn't see it. So he gets like frustrated, and he's pointing the gun at me, and then he gets mad, and he just like looks away for a second to like, well, what the hell am I gonna do? You know? And as soon as he looked away, I just punched him in the face, like as hard as I could, like backhand, like hammer fist.
And you were sitting down in the car. And
Yeah, I'm in the driver's seat. He's in the passenger seat next to me. I smashed him in the face, and then I jump over, and like we start fighting outside. He never like picked the gun up or pointed at me again, but we started tussling around, and then two guys jumped out of the Suburban, and I'm like fighting the three of them. And finally at one point one of them had like my feet, and the other ones had my hands and kind of stretched me out. And then he was about to like pistol, whip me.
where's Matt?
So that's when Matt jumps out, because Matt's like, well, I was 1-on-1, because that was like our big thing. Like, we're not jumping people or any shit like that. I have some honor, you know? But when so that happened, I'm like looking up, and I see him like hand over his head about to like just smash me with this pistol. I'm just like, oh no. And then, because I can't do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fighting like hell, but I can't move really. And then I just see Matt just run up and just like tackle / like punch this dude in the head.
The one who's holding pistol.
Yep, the one who was about to hit me. So he like falls over, then he like shoves one of them. And then I get back up and I just rip my jacket off. And I'm like, let's go. And they were like, whoa. And I'm like, no, you're not doing this to me. Like, I will kill you all right now. Like, if you come at me. And Matt's just like, yo, let's go. And I'm like, no, let's do this. And they're like, no, man. And then he still has the gun and stuff. Matt's like, he has the gun. Like, let's just go. So then they get in the car. I get in my car. They start driving. And I'm like, I'm chasing them. Like, fuck that. So we start going after him. And Matt's just like, dude, not worth it. Let's go. And I'm calling up people. And I'm like, yo, I need you right now. Like, we got some bodies to bury. And,
oh my God.
But it's rural Vermont. There's like no service or anything anyway. So I had a hard time getting a hold of people, or if I'd have them on the phone, then I would lose service. And I'm like so amped up right now anyway. And Matt's voice of reason, like, bro, let's just go somewhere else and just chill. And I was like, no, absolutely not. And I call my friend, the guy who sold me all my drugs pretty much. And I tell him, and he's like, just come up here. He was in Norwich, Vermont, and he was like, or Northfield, Vermont. He was like, come up here and just hang out. Like, just calm down. Like, no, they didn't steal anything. Like, you're good. You won. Just, and I was like, nope, not doing it. I'm gonna get these guys. So then I chase them through town. We pull down in this area, and we're about to pull in. Matt's like, dude, don't go down there. That's a one-way. Like, it's a dead end. I was like, perfect. That's exactly where I want him. He's like, don't do it. So I pull down in there. They stop the car, and I'm about to get out, and another car pulls in behind me, boxes me in. And these two guys get out and just start beating my car with, like, I don't know if it was a 2x4 or a piece of wood or something. It wasn't a bat, but they're just like beating my car. And we're just sitting there like, shit. Because there's like 5 or 6 dudes now. We're boxed in. I don't have anything besides like a fishing knife. And yeah, I'm like, I don't know. And there's no service. So we're just sitting there like, this isn't good.
Okay.
And, but then finally the car backed out. So I backed out too. And then that's when I got into like the accident or the chase, whatever. So they're going through the long stretch right by probably about a half-mile stretch that was straight ish by the P lot that we used to hang out in. And I'm just driving, just fired up. And I look at Matt, I'm like, hang on. He's like, don't do it. I was like, I'm doing it. I wanted to pit him. I had no idea how to do it, but I'm like, I want to pit him. So I just crash in the side of their car, rips my bumper off underneath. It's like dragging underneath. And then I get ahead of them, trying to like get in front of them and stop. And then, so we're trying to just doing this swerving action. And then I pull into this gas station. They pull in behind me on the other side of the gas station. And then it's February again. So there's like an ice pick right by the door. I grab it. And I just start walking towards them, like holding it like a spear, like let's do it. Like, you want to play with weapons? You want to have a club? All right, like let's go medieval on this.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we're not doing that. And I was like, fine. And I dropped it. Like, let's go then. And the lady in the gas station comes out. She's like, what are you doing? I was like, they tried to rob me. She's like, there's cameras everywhere. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, shit. Okay. So they left. My car's all messed up. So, and then somebody called the police. They're like, the state troopers are on their way. I was like, shit. Okay. So I went, there was service there, luckily. So I called my brother. I was like, I need you to come down to Champlain Farms right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, all right, I'm on my way. Like, what's going on? I'm like, some guys tried to rob me. I crashed my car into them. It won't drive. State troopers are on their way. I don't know if they're going to search my car or what, but I need you to come down here. He's like, okay. So I stuffed all the stuff that I had. I had like 80 Oxycontin. I had 180 milligram Oxycontin pills, $5,000 in cash, and then 8 pounds of weed in a rucksack. And I went down a bank behind the gas station. There was a big grain mill right down the road a little bit. So there was always like a train there. So I climb up on top of the train, throw the bag up there, grab like a pine branch or something, like try to cover up my tracks like I'm in a Disney movie or something. And then I just wait for the police. And I call him real quick. I'm like, hey, this is where it is. It's on top of the train behind the gas station. Like, get here as soon as you can, grab it and drive it to Grandpa's house and put it in the basement. He's like, all right, got it. So then the police come. We didn't ride with them, but the gas station lady, she was getting done with her shift. She's like, well, I'll just bring you guys down. It's fine. So then on the way there, Matt and I are just like, we need a story. Like, what were we doing? Whatever. And so we get down there. They separate us. We each give a statement. And we just said we were meeting this guy to buy weed. Like, we weren't selling anything. We were trying to buy weed. Then he tried to rob us. And then this all ensued. And they were just like, yeah, all right, whatever. Like, stupid kids or whatever. The thing that was wild, and I still remember this so super clear. I've only told the story like 4 or 5 times ever. But they're like, what's your name again? And I told him. I was like, Alex Rogers. And he just looks up and he's like, what? I was like, Alex Rogers. Like, you're Alex Rogers? I was like, uh-huh. He's like, he kind of sits back. I was like, okay. And you were just buying weed. That's it. And I was like, yep. He was like, okay. And that was it. Like, they were like, all right. And they're like, you're good to go. Like, nothing happened. So I would assume that they had heard about me. You know, he had to have known my name. You know, it was so, but it was literally just like, oh, yeah, you're good.
That reaction was intimidating. That definitely made you shit your pants.
Yeah, I was just like, ooh, well, they are definitely onto me now because they may have known my name, but they didn't have like my face.
Yeah.
You know, but now they do, and now they're tracking that I've created more of a problem than just, you know, selling some stuff here and there. And my parents came and picked me up, and my mom was crying. My dad was just beyond disappointed. And I was just like, damn, this sucks. Had my phone, I looked at it, and one of my best friends, even still to this day, Brittany, she had texted me. She's like, hey, his name was Rich. She's like, Rich is asking where you live because he said he forgot your wallet in your car. She's like, are you even friends with him? I'm like, no, do not tell him anything. She's like, okay, yeah, I won't. And so my mom's like, let's just go. Let's get out. Like, let's go home. And I was just like, we can't go home. It's not safe. And she's just like, Alex, what have you done? And that's when it really hit me. I'm like, yeah, this isn't cool anymore. And then yeah, I stopped dealing myself like right then and there. I still did buy some Percocet, like in bulk, and then just like front it to people. Again, like I said, I wasn't the best drug dealer, but I wanted to still try to make some money doing like wholesale pretty much. And I did that probably 4 or 5 times and then just like cut it off. And then it was probably a couple months later is when like the recruiting story happened. Like I was like, I gotta change. I gotta fix this.
So your mom's reaction to your whole drug scene made you realize this is wrong.
Yeah.
Did you secretly like anything about dealing drugs that people wouldn't expect you to?
Just the rush of it, you know, that dopamine hit of like making a sale and like seeing the money, seeing the, you know, the cash. Cause you know, like I wasn't making any money at the hotel or really anything before. Like all the jobs I'd done were anywhere from like $7 to $10 an hour. I did do some landscaping for a guy. He gave me 15, but that was like the most money I ever made. And, you know, and it was all like hard labor or it's just stuff I didn't really enjoy. It was just doing it so I could have a job. So like making that quick money as a, you know, 18, 19-year-old kid was.
So hard labor was after dealing drugs or before?
Both.
12. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And no part of that when you were done dealing drugs was like, fuck, why am I working out like so hard while I can just go back and like make a couple of flips?
No, I thought about it, and I remember people would ask me like, "Hey, can you still?" I was just like, "Yes, but I'm not going to. Like, I'm done with that. Like, I said I'm done. I'm done."
Why the military? Why not something safer?
I don't think it's in my DNA individually, because my parents weren't really about me going in the military. I didn't really have any family or anyone that I knew. That's just what I wanted to do, and nothing else really entertained me besides sports. I wanted to work, but I wanted it to be something I really enjoyed, and I felt like the military was the best thing. I had too many friends who them or their older siblings would go off to college, start a 4-year degree plan, and then drop out after 2 or 3 years and work at like a gas station or a chain store somewhere, like and it's like, what's the point of going to college? I don't even know what I want to go for besides to play sports, and like I might make the team, but I'm not that good, so I don't know what I want to do, and I figured that the military was the best choice for me, and I'd say it was.
Dealing drugs, sports, basically at that point, you was someone who was drawn to chaos, drawn to rush, drawn to something that gives you a sense of meaning, and which was a very high pressure situation.
Mm-hmm.
When you chose the military, was it a new purpose or was it just you chasing a new kind of chaos?
That's actually a phenomenal question. I haven't thought about that. But I guess both, really. I've always kind of chased the chaos. And I would do, and I'd say that because with sports, I was always trying to, try out for this team or go to this pickup game or play with these guys and do that. Like put myself in just an uncomfortable position where most of my peers would be like, "What are you doing? Why are you trying to do that? Like, you're going to fail. You're not going to look good." I used to always try to go. My mom used to work near this community college, and I would always try to like get in the pickup games with the basketball team. I was like 16, 17, and these are guys that are playing actual college basketball, and I would always just try to play their pickup games. The coach was cool. He let me like do their summer practice with them and stuff. So I was just like, this is, I'm putting myself out there. I'm getting opportunities that other people are afraid of. Like even people on the team, there's always been a mixed reaction when I've done these things. Some people are like, "That's awesome. Like, good for you. Like just having the balls to come out here and do this." And then there's people who are just like, "You're an idiot. Like, why would you do that? Like, you're going to, get dunked on." I'm like, "Dude, I don't care. I'd rather get dunked on by a college basketball player than some schmuck in high school,
Yeah.
Like, if he dunks on me, I'll probably learn how to not have him dunk on me
Yeah.
or whatever, the case may be." And I've just kind of always been like that. So I think that's why I was probably drawn to the, a soft component, whether it was Green Beret, Ranger, Navy SEALs, whatever, because I wanted to be uncomfortable, but around people who I knew would push me way outside of my comfort zone because I was comfortable going in those situations.
I've interviewed a handful of Navy SEALs now, and being a part of Navy SEAL comes down to buds training.
Mm-hmm.
At what moment you realize in buds that you were going to fail?
I never really felt like I knew I was going to fail. There's definitely times where I'm like, this is probably going to be it. Like, this might be the end of my career in buds. First time was the underwater swim, the 50-meter underwater. I was not good at that at all. I don't think I've done it since, honestly. I did it that one time. I was like, well, but I had that mindset of like, people say, "I'd rather die before I quit." I'm like, that was me. And there was a lot of guys that were like that. And I was like, for me, it was that. I was like, I will pass out under here, and I don't care. Not that I'm not suicidal. I would rather pass out underwater than quit right now. And then there was one particular log PT where I was just like, I don't know if I can continue this. Like I was crushed. And so that was a time. And then I passed pool comp on my third attempt. And I thought, my first two attempts were like under 2 minutes. And I was just like, this isn't good. So that was really it in buds. Those are like the 3 times where I'm like, I am about to fail, and that's it. This is the end of it.
Were you panicking?
Yes, but more of like a lack of oxygen.
How did you control your panic when your body was shutting down?
I think that you just kind of just accept that that's it. Like this, like I'm going to pass out and they're going to save me, or I'm going to pass out and die. and I was like totally okay with both of those at the time because I was so determined to succeed that I didn't care really what had happened to me. That's the same case for a lot of guys. Not my story, but I've heard it a bunch of times, and I think this will kind of drive that point home. Is there was this kid, one of my really good friends was an instructor, and then another guy I knew was an instructor. So they were there when this happened. I've heard it from both of them, and it was in SQT, so they're doing room clearances for the CQC block, and one of the kids, like, they did safe and hang. So like when you're done clearing, just drop your gun, and it's on your sling, and so just pointing at the floor, and then so you can hear your debrief. Take out your notebook or whatever. Well, I guess when he did the safe and hang, he didn't safe it, and he shot himself in the foot, like right down clean through the middle. And it's in the kill house, so it's super loud. There's gunshots going off all over. So they're like, did you just shoot? And he's just like, nope. I'm like, weird. Sounded like it was in this room. And then I forget which one it was, but one of the guys was literally right in front of him. They looked down, and they're just like, what the like, did you shoot yourself? And because they just see blood just pouring out from the bottom of his shoe. And he's just like, yes. Like, what? And like he literally shot himself in the foot.
And he stood there,
and just stood there stone faced, and probably would have just walked out of there and pretended like it never happened. The only thing that gave it away really was the blood all over the floor. And that's like when I say like I'd rather die in that pool, like that's my story compared to his is don't even compare. But I'm just saying that's how extreme guys will go. Like when there's people who say I'd rather die before I quit, they mean that 100%. And so yeah, but I just remember hearing that like, holy shit, that is crazy.
Well, damn. Like I'm sure you've talked to a lot of guys. You've experienced this yourself. What breaks before the body or the mind?
The mind, 100%. I did see some people whose bodies broke, unless they were faking it, which is a pretty gnarly thing to see. Some of the people's bodies break. It was mostly on like the Trail of Tears, like doing the boats on heads down to the demo pits. I saw some guys just like laying on the side of the sand, like literally could not move, but mentally still like I want to go, but like I can't. Like people's hips were giving out or their knees or whatever. But so you'll have a few of those, but for the most part, it's mental, 100%. Like there was people who quit 2 or 3 days in because they had failed the first run, the first swim, the first O course. And there's like, if you fail 2, you can either get dropped or performance rolled. And the first week, almost everybody failed those 3 things, like in a row. I did. And I remember there was a few people who were like, I'm just going to quit. because instructors did a really good job of getting in your head. Be like, do the honorable thing. If you can't compete and keep up, you shouldn't be here. Do the honorable thing and quit. Don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt your teammates. Like, leave here with some respect from your classmates and from us. Like, we will shake your hand and tell you we're proud of you. And that got to some people too. So they would literally quit, and then they would go try to seek their handshake from SO1 so-and-so. And so I was just like, dude, what? No, I will fail everything.
Yeah.
But I'm not quitting. Like, like, it's up to them to tell me if I made it or not. Because I'm going to go until I can't. And yeah, so I would say mentally was what gets people.
What do you think for those people who did quit? Like, did decided in their minds, we're gonna quit, and then there's a little walk of shame, or like that you guys see because you're still in it, and you see someone gave up, go walk away, probably shake instructor's hand, and then walk away. Like, what does go in your mind in that moment?
It's motivation. It fires you up. Like, I'm still here. Especially when there's certain people, certain characters who are like, you either wanted them to quit because they were a jerk or they sucked or just, just personality clash, or they were arrogant, or it was just like, you had some like physical specimens. Like, there's some studs that come through buds, like Division I athletes, Olympians, professional athletes, whatever. People who are just like super, shredded and like all cut up, and the guys you look at and be like, that's what a Navy SEAL should look like. You see them quit, like, damn, I'm still here. I don't have any accolades. I have no cool resume. Like, I was a shithead drug dealer, like, that's what I did. And I'm still here. So, I thought it was motivating for the most part. No one quit where I was just like, ooh, if he quit, then I probably will too. It was never like that. It was like it's funny because in prep, David Goggins was one of the instructors, and he used to talk about like when we, he's a big runner, of course, and we used to do these hill sprints at this place, and he's like, every time you run by a motherfucker, you steal his soul. And there was a few of us when we would try to sprint up the hill and pass people, we just like, grab at him, like, taking your soul. And like, but it fired you up. And that's and that probably carried on with me through first phase, at least, when, everyone quit. So, yeah.
It's quite interesting to watch that. Is there a physical trait of being in the SEALs that is beneficial to you? Like being tall, muscular, or having long limbs, or whatever that could be, in your opinion? What is that?
I think I read this somewhere, but then like just experiencing it, like most SEALs are around like, 5'9" to 6 feet, anywhere from like 180 to, 210. And, of course you're going to have like, that's the bell curve, the 80% in the middle, like that's how they're built. There's some shorter guys, some scrawny guys, and then there's some just big behemoth dudes who are like, 6'8", and like around like just big tall. But I would say that middle, like 5'9" to 6 foot range, anywhere from 180 to 200, 210 maybe, is kind of like the best body type to go through buds, from what I've seen.
Why does it hurt a guy if he's too tall to be in the SEALs?
It can hurt him for in buds for like the carrying the boats and the logs, because you're going to be so much taller than everybody else that things are going to be off balanced, and you're more than likely going to be carrying way more than your fair share, just because no one else can, which can lead to injury or doubt or frustration.
Is there an optimal like weight range that's beneficial for a guy who's certain height to be in the SEALs? Do you guys do that? Because like a guy who's like too big might need more food. Sort of thing?
No. So buds is again, I can only speak for that because I didn't do anything else. But from what it sounds like, what I've gathered from other soft selection courses, is that you get to eat as much as you want.
Mm.
We're burning like 20,000 calories on average a day throughout buds. So like, and you had to eat 3 times a day. Like it was mandatory,
Gotcha.
or mandatory meal times. Whether you ate or not was, up to you. But like you could go and that you could just eat literally as much as you wanted. So that doesn't really matter.
Gotcha. Well, you did the buds. You went through the whole selection process,
Mm-hmm.
and now finally it's time to be with the big boys.
Yep.
The deployment.
Mm-hmm.
Walk me through that. Like, how was your experience going into deployment? Like, what was the preparation like?
It was cool. You're like, you finally, when you get to the team, it's not like a bunch of just basic training sort of things or fundamental stuff that's designed for like the lowest level person. Like as a new guy, that's how it feels. When you get older, it's like, oh, this is designed for new guys. And a lot of people would say that, but my first experience was like, okay, everything's like so much faster paced. It's way more serious. Because you're not training to make it to the next block to ultimately graduate and get your little shiny pin. Like we're training for war. We're training, train for war, fight to win, defeat our nation's enemies. Like that's in the SEAL creed. And so that's what it was like all the time. Especially during unit level training or ULT. It was, the training was very serious. It was very challenging. You're exposed to new things. You're on night vision a lot more. You're doing stuff at night a lot more too, not just wearing night vision in like a dark, the dark kill house, but like you're doing night evolutions. You're shooting a lot more guns with people who are a lot better than you. You're shooting bigger guns. You're driving vehicles. We didn't drive any vehicles in SQT. So yeah, we jumped more, we dove more. The dives were significantly more challenging. We're on boats, different types of boats, doing like hook and climbs and stuff. So it was just a much faster pace. You're kind of literally drinking through a fire hose that first ULT.
And you said something very interesting that I like to quote it. You were loading bullets into the gun.
Yeah.
While thinking they were going to go into humans.
Yeah.
What was that moment?
That was, so I was reenlisting. Was when it was right after ULT had finished. Went over to Iraq. It was like a rock star tour on the way there, which was a lot of fun. We took a C-130. It took like 6 days to get there, as we flew like 6 hours at a time, spent the night somewhere. So I had like this really fun like lead up to it. And you're still like, man, this is just you're doing cool shit with cool people. It's like a rock star lifestyle. Nothing like is super real feeling at this time. Like, everything's challenging and whatnot, but like nothing felt super real until then. We touched down in Kuwait. It's like, okay, like here's the desert, but then you see like the Ali Al Salim, the base we were at, was just a bunch of Army, Air Force people just like hanging out. There was a pool there and just like people chilling, playing video games in the MWR area. And like, this can't be that bad, And then we flew from there up to Al-Assad in Iraq. We got there a little after dinner time. But we were starving, so we went to eat and we missed the op board where like they were going to talk about the thing they were doing the next day. The troop was doing. And then it turned out one of my like really good friends, Joe, was in that platoon, and I didn't know he was there. We saw each other. Hey, oh, what's up? And he's like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm here for the like the PDSS, like, and I'm reenlisting. He's like, when are you leaving? I'm like, oh, I have to stay for a few more weeks, because everyone else in all my leadership had like, they ate, and then they were leaving the next morning. They're like, all right, we've seen enough. Let's go home. And but I was stuck there. And he was like, dude, we're going on this thing tomorrow. Like, it's probably going to get pretty spicy. Like, it's going to be, I think out of everything we've done, tomorrow is probably going to be the best thing we've done since. You should try to go. I was like, okay. Like, I don't have anything. I have no body armor. I have no radio. I have no nons. I have no gun. I barely have camis, like that's all, that's literally all I had. And, and I missed the upward. But I go into the jock and, I'm talking to somebody, I forget who it was. I think it was the OIC of the platoon. Told him that, Joe had told me to go in there and see if I could get a seat. So I asked him, and then he asked the SEA. His name's Brian. I love that dude. He's so funny and just a cool guy. But he was the SEA of SQT when I was going through, and I see him. I was like, hey, like, can I go out tomorrow? He's like, do you have any of your stuff? I'm like, no. I'm like, can I borrow it? He's like, you're gonna ask a senior chief to borrow his stuff? Like, yeah. All right. If you can go, I'll give you my stuff. Sure. I'm like, okay, cool. He's like, you got to talk to him. And then I'm like, who's that? He's like, that's the platoon chief. So Brian calls him over. He's like, hey, he wants to go out with you guys tomorrow. He's like, who are you? I was like, Alex, I'm with Team 3. He's like, and he's like, what do you do? And Brian's just like, he's one of the chiefs. He's good, man. He's been around a while. He's experienced. He'd be a great asset. And I just like kind of start blushing and smiling. And he looks at me. He's like, you don't look like no chief to me. He's like, what are you really? I was like, I'm a new guy. And Brian's just like, oh, what are you doing, dude? He's not going to take you now. He laughed. He's like, all right, at least you're honest about it. He's like, funny enough, we do have a seat open. Our JTAC had to go to Baghdad. So like you can be the gunner at one of our MAT Vs. And I was like, he's like, you know how to do all that? I was like, yeah, well, we already did ULT and everything. He's like, all right. Yep, you're good. He's like, you have any stuff? I was like, and Brian's like, I'm going to let him borrow all my stuff. He's like, okay, we're leaving at, I think they're leaving like 4 a.m. And it's like probably 7 p.m. at the time. And I'm just like amped up again, super excited. And I tell my chief and LPO, and they're like, all right, well, you need to go to bed then, like right now. Like, I'm trying. And then I was in there, I shared a hooch with our medic, and I'm just tossing, like I can't sleep. I'm so excited. And I know I need to sleep, but like I'm just jazzed up. And he's just like, dude, do you want an Ambien? I was like, yeah, that'd probably be really helpful. I was like, I need to sleep. And so I took an Ambien, sort of helped. I think I passed out for a couple hours. And then they came over, and that's when they're like the clip you saw where I talk about like loading the bullets. They come over, turn the lights on, and we just start loading them up. And yeah, that's when I was like, I had that pause of like, holy shit, this is real. And then we went out and did our thing.
I know it's really tough for me to ask you this because you've literally been training your whole life for this, but did it felt like, oh shit, like it's going to take someone's life?
No, I mean, it was like, whoa, this is pretty wild. Like that this could happen. But no, I wasn't scared. Like I felt like mentally, I was excited. I was prepared.
No hesitation?
No.
Well, and would you like to tell us what happened on the mission?
Yeah, sure.
Did any of those bullets make it where they were supposed to?
Not those, no, because that was for an M4 with like a 10-inch. So, and we, I think the closest we got to the guys we were shooting at was like 800 meters. And I just had like an EOTech on it. So, but we used the Crow system, was the 50 cal, like connected to a computer screen, like playing a video game essentially. So we shot with that, and then I shot Mark 48, 7.62 belt-fed machine gun at some guys, and then I shot some a mortar.
Okay.
So, and then I I wanted to do it because I had just done the javelin course, but I was new, so they wouldn't. I wasn't even new really. I was like an augmentee. But I took the javelin out of the truck, set it up, and then gave it to one platooners at the other platoon, and he killed somebody with it. So I say I got the assist.
So you have 2 assists, or do you have a kill on you?
I don't know if I killed anybody that day.
Well, what about like throughout your career?
I think so, but I never like, because it was always in distance or at night.
Night. Yeah.
Mhm.
Hard to tell.
Yeah.
Well, as we talked in the beginning, you mentioned that you stopped feeling things,
Mm-hmm.
and I was reading about you, and you mentioned like you had a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh fuck, I'm supposed to feel something,
Yeah.
but I don't feel this.
Yeah.
Did you realize in that moment like something was wrong, or you've just become this whole new person?
No, I knew something was wrong or something was off. I remember so I had my daughter, September 6th, and then like 10 days later, my platoon had already left. They left, I think like the 8th or something. So I had her, and then they actually might have left before she was born, but I stayed back so we could have her, and then I joined him after. So I think we had her, and then it was like 10 days later I left and went out to Iraq. So I didn't know her, but I don't know what time it was. It probably like it wasn't too late into deployment, maybe 2 months, maybe 3 at the very most. But I went to my friend's room, my sea daddy at the time, the guy I looked up to and kind of was like my mentor, I guess, in the team. And was just like, Tom, something's bothering me. He's like, what's that? Because he had a few daughters and a wife as well. So I was like, I feel weird. Like I don't miss them, like at all, and like that is bothering me. It's upsetting me. Like that's the emotion I have, is that I'm upset that I don't miss them. What is going on? Like help me understand this. And he was just like, dude, I get it. It's natural. Like when I was in Afghanistan, I think it was his first or second deployment, where he's just like, you just went numb. Like you shut everything else out that's not right there with you. I guess you call it like battlefield mindfulness or battlefield presence. Like you're just like, if it's not here, it doesn't concern me. It's funny. I saw like a meme the other day on Instagram. It was like some clip of, I don't know what movie it's from, but it's Morgan Freeman like laying down in bed, and he kind of wakes up and like looks up and just smiles and then goes back to sleep. And it's like when it's 5 a.m. and you hear gunshots and explosions, but you realize that you don't have to pay your bills, you don't have to go grocery shopping, and like all this, like the things that stress us out here at life, like, as a civilian in America. And that like reminded me of that. Actually, it was just like, dude, I didn't care about anything except what was right there. But I think that's probably good though. At the same time, it's a double-edged sword of like, I'm not thinking about those things because I'm in a war zone,
right,
know,
right,
and
right.
my life's pretty much constantly at risk. But no, he kind of he was like, it's okay. Like you're not the only one to feel that. That's a normal thing for people like us. Like it does suck. I'm not saying it doesn't suck, but like, don't think that you're broken or, there's something truly wrong with you.
Yeah.
And then he's like, when you see them again, that it will come back. You will be like, I loved you. I missed, and it'll like, you missed them so much. You just don't even realize it because your brain is like numbing it.
Why do you think guys like you do struggle in relationships? We talked about this off camera a bit.
Yeah.
Like, so you came out from the teams in May, like end of May, and you said you've been in relationships. There's been struggle. There's been ups and downs. Why? What happened?
I I think the chaos is attractive to people like us, especially if you're, not in tune with your emotions fully. Um, you're around men 99% of the time. They don't validate you. You don't validate yourself. Um, you want to feel loved. You want to feel, presence of a someone who cares about you. Um, and you're broken. At least I was actually, and I know a lot of other people were, because when I kind of tell other guys, this is what I'm going through, or this is what's happening, or this is what's happened. Almost every single one of them is like, "Yep, been there," or they know someone who has. Another, not just a SEAL, but just military in general. But I would say a lot of SEALs, because that's mostly who I talk to as far as military goes, all have dealt with this, unless they were like in a really strong, rooted, faith-based relationship beforehand. Um, they struggle. So I don't know exactly what it is. I'm still trying to figure that out. But um, I think that for me, I feel like it was like a self-worth problem, a validation problem, an attention. Like I wanted attention from someone, and like I honestly wasn't really getting it from my wife at the time, the way I needed. I think she says she was, but it's like, yeah, you in your way, but like for me, I wasn't really getting it, and I had an affair with her on her, and this girl she was there, she listened to me, and it started off really good, and then it, because it was an affair, I kind of, I was kind of didn't treat her right, and hid her from a lot of people, or downplayed things. Um, wasn't honest with her about a lot of stuff. I was lying to a lot of people, and then that just kind of snowballed. Um, and then that ended horribly. And then like a month or so later, I met another woman, and it started off, same thing, like magical. It's like, this is literally everything I want. And, a couple months in, actually a month and a half in, is when it started, like the red flags kind of showed up, and there was some things that my trauma I had not healed from, previous mistakes I was making again, like from both my marriage and then the previous relationship. And I think that chasing that chaos, like I didn't give myself any time to really heal or reflect or work on myself. So there was a lot of just repeated patterns. And I mean, she has her part in it too, of course. But for me speaking, like that's kind of, I think, how that happened. And yeah, and like I said, a few other people have said stuff very similar. Like we find these women find us, they promise us the world and that we never had or that we dreamed of, and because it's like I feel like most guys have a pretty good idea of what they want, and I gave her like the blueprint. I was like, this is what I want in a partner, and I listed off every single thing down to like the little details, and she took that and just like absorbed it and literally became everything. But I don't think that's who she is. I know it's not now.
So at this point, would you say love is harder than war?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it has been, especially self-love too,
Mm.
and I think that has a lot to do with it. I think that's probably the biggest thing is I didn't really love myself. I was proud of myself. I did all these things that I wanted to do, where others had failed or or was too scared to do it, and I did it. And I was very proud of myself, but I don't think I loved myself. And having someone that says they love you and sees that you have these issues and you're going through these things, and still is like right there, even if they don't mean it, like you take that in, you're like, okay, cool, like I can start to heal and like grow with you. And I think that that's really appealing to people, to men who have been in this career like I have.
There's a lot of topics and things around self-love that I've talked to a couple of Navy SEALs about that should be implemented, as in that, but also, again, as you said, a double-edged sword. You don't want to be or get in tune with other than what your job requires it to be, which is literally logical, eyes on the task, enforce, do the mission, get out.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't let room for other things like that in the war zone. So it's like a double-edged sword.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure people who are experts, psychologists, scientists will come up with a way maybe to deal with things after that.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have a couple set of questions that I want you to like rapidly answer whatever comes in your mind.
Sure.
What's more dangerous, a disciplined man or a desperate man?
Disciplined.
Do you think men are too soft these days?
Yes.
Why?
I think just our society kind of tries to close the door on a lot of things, minimize things. I think the food that we put in our bodies, or the easy food, you have a little box that you hold in your hand that can give you instant gratification, however you want. You want to look at women, you can look at it on your phone. You want to talk to women, you can do it on your phone. I can do that, but I'm too scared to go talk to someone at the grocery store or in the airport or
Correct.
wherever. Everything is so easy now, and there's quick fixes for everything. Like you want to lose weight, freaking stab yourself with Ozempic, or starve yourself, or
Yeah.
Like you can get an Amazon package delivered to your house the same day. Like there's an easy button for everything.
Yeah.
And so I think like for the first question, like desperate men push the easy button, and they're dangerous, but like in a reckless way.
Gotcha.
That's not lasting. A disciplined man is someone who, I'm not saying you got to go to the grocery store. Like I use Instacart. I'm not gonna lie, but I use Amazon.
Yeah.
But like I use my discipline to train Jiu-Jitsu or to train other martial arts, to have a morning routine that I stick to.
Yeah.
Like and I'm focused on stuff like that. By no means am I perfect. I have a lot of vices and shortfalls and stuff like that. But I think not just pushing the easy button on everything makes you disciplined, which makes you dangerous, because it's like you know how to prioritize things, you know how to say no to things.
Yeah.
And you're not just pulling out your phone for every single need, whether it's information or attention or validation or whatever.
What's one truth about the war that people wouldn't want to hear?
I mean, at this point, I feel like whatever what I say is pretty mainstream now. It's like there's no point for the average American for us to be there, in my opinion. Like we're going to these places, doing these things. People are dying on both sides, and then we go over there, fuck everything up because we're doing the right thing, and then we come back, and the amount of like veteran suicides and depression and all these things, it just is insane. Like not many people die in combat compared to how many die when they get back. They kill by their own hand.
Yes.
And not just that, but like I heard a stat too that this is something nobody really talks about. I've never heard except for this one time. Is that suicides of spouses is also on the rise, is insanely high. Like everyone's like, 22 a day. Like that's a fuck ton. But now you're looking at like 40 a week of spouses. It's like that adds a whole nother layer to this.
Yeah.
And just, there isn't enough resources advertised. I'm sure there's enough resources, but they're not advertised for veterans and people to get the help that they need. And again, for what, I don't think that's something no one knows, but that's just something I really feel like I need to get out there, because I think it's ridiculous. And I joined to go to war. I joined to kill bad guys, but why?
Is United States war with Iran worth fighting for?
Honestly, I haven't looked too much into it. I try to stay away from that, and which is maybe is ignorant of me, but I mean, I don't know. I've been asked this a bunch recently. It's hard to say because I know like what I've seen and what I've heard, not just on the internet, but like from people who are from that area or from Iran or know someone who they're like they hate their government. Their government's terrible. They're like mowing their own citizens down the street for protesting against these things. I've seen clips of videos of like bombs going off outside and like Iranian kids being like, God bless America, God bless the US military, God bless Trump, like saying stuff like that. They're excited. It's like, dude, your freaking neighborhood's getting bombed and you're happy? Like, that says something. Like, so, I feel for that. And, um, but as far as like what we got going on here in America, like we're in LA, homeless people is insane.
Yeah.
The drug problem is insane. Like I said, the veteran crisis is insane. Like you could spend all that money to go back into here and help Americans and help our infrastructure, help our communities, and like mental health is such a. I mean, I feel like it's getting more attention now than it has in the past. But like that's what we need to be spending our time and energy and focus on, not bombing people on the other side of the world for I don't even know why.
Right. Right. One addictions Navy SEALs or the SEALs go through that you guys don't talk about publicly?
Probably validation and attention. Like you spend your whole active duty career being that silent professional, and people always make the podcasts I've done is like, oh, silent professional. Yeah, I was when I was in it.
Yeah.
I didn't talk about shit. I didn't have an Instagram. I didn't post anything. Like I used to say I was a door greeter at Walmart, like on my old Facebook, like that I had in the beginning of like buds and stuff. Like I never talked about it. And then you get out and this trauma just hits you. And I don't do these podcasts to like, look at me, listen to my cool story, look how awesome I am. That's a byproduct of it. But like for me, this is like therapy session. Like that's a phenomenal question. Like just some of the things you've asked me, I've never thought about it. So these podcasts and these appearances I have and the sharing them on social media like gets it out there. And yeah, I get some hate. I don't care. This is helpful for me. I know it's helpful for other people, not just veterans, but just people in general. Like they see a man that gets on camera with a microphone and just with a stranger, and just starts dumping it out. And you can do that. And guess what? I'm going to walk out of here lighter, happier, and, fulfilled that I did something. And I feel like, and I'm proud of that. Yeah, I'll probably get some more likes and follows on my Instagram, but, that's not what this is about at all. Hopefully I get some coaching clients out of it too. Like, but again, that's not what this is about. This is me sharing things, showing other people, veterans, that it's okay to talk about this stuff. You don't have to bottle it all up and be angry and get depressed and then ultimately put the bottle or a bullet to your head to make it all go away. Like, talk about this shit, dump it out. And there's gonna be some funny stories along the way. It'll make you laugh. And there's gonna be some stuff that's just like, ooh, I don't want to cry right now because a bunch of people are gonna see this.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like that's what this is for. I think that's kind of the thing is, and sure, maybe there are some people who, want to do that, but I think that's the biggest thing that, like what your question.
I don't want to sound disrespectful, and I don't want to sound like it's irrelevant, as in it doesn't matter. But one question that I have, as in, I was thinking and talking to myself when I was writing this down, as if I was going into the SEALs or the Rangers or the military in general, I'd ask myself this question: what would my answer be? Because it would shatter all the illusion. And the question is, how do you justify taking a life? Because people do that in the name of religion. People do that in the name of nationality. People do that in the name of color, race, ethnicity. So people do it in the name of love. But how do you actually justify it? Because we are willing to die for everything, but we aren't willing to live. As in, all of the things that are glorified, of I died for the country, I died for the nation, I died for love, I died for my religion, whatever, has an ugly side to it, and we glorify the ugliness, but we're also taking someone's life.
Yeah. I think you can kind of, that's kind of the easy button thing there too. Like, I would die for my kids. I would die for, for God or for Allah or for this, for that, for my country, for my brother over here. Like, okay, that's fucking easy. Dying is easy. Everything goes away. You don't have to do shit after that. So like, that's, but living for something, living for someone, like, I'd die for my kids. Like, yeah, but you won't wake up early and feed them breakfast. You don't sit there and watch their sports games without playing on your phone. Like, you're not living for these people that you say you care about. You're not living for these causes that you believe in. But you'll die for them because that's easy. But justifying killing a life, like, I think there's a ton of different reasons, and I think that you as a person taking that life have to have that reason. You have to stand by it, because it probably will get to you if you don't have a reason. But for me, like, if somebody mess with my kids, like, I'll kill you.
Yeah.
And I don't need justification for that.
So that's in the name of love. Yes.
I think the only time I would really truly justify killing somebody was if it in the name of love, or like self-defense, which would still be like love of
self-love.
Yeah, yeah.
But what about the other stuff? Nationality, religion?
No, absolutely
not
not.
justified.
That's fucking stupid. There's no reason to kill someone because they look different than you, or they like a different set of genders than you do, or a different set of genitals than you do, or they pray to a different God than you. Like, that's dumb. Like, if it doesn't, and if you're so wrapped up on like somebody believes something different than you feel like you have to kill them, you need to get a fucking life.
But what if the religion says that?
I don't know. I mean, I guess don't listen to it. I don't know. But that's me. I'm just like, I'm not gonna kill for that.
Yeah. I'm an ordinary citizen. You're a Navy SEAL. Give me 2 truths and 1 lie, and I just want to guess it.
For like SEAL stuff?
SEAL stuff, yeah.
Okay. Damn.
I just want to guess, like, as an ordinary citizen, do I know stuff about it or not?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Every Navy SEAL is required to swim 50 feet beneath the surface and tie a knot. Every Navy SEAL has to complete sniper school, and every SEAL needs to know how to fire a Mark 48.
The third one, I thought that was a lie, but okay. You just mentioned Mark 48 a couple of times. But have to is not like important. Tie a knot 50 feet. Let me think. You have to swim 50 meters. I don't know about knot, though. So the second is the truth. The one you mentioned about, what was the second one?
I forgot.
It was a Mark 48. It was a swimming. And
what was the other one? Dude, I've totally blanked.
Bro,
I'm
me
sorry.
too.
I'm sorry.
I know the second one was for truth for sure. Like, I just thought of that in my head. No, remember?
That's embarrassing. Yeah, no, I forgot.
Oh my god. All right, let's just make between the first and the third one.
Yeah.
I think the first one is true. The third one's a lie.
Nope, other way around. Everyone needs to know how to shoot a 48. no, regardless. Because somebody goes down, you need to pick it up and use it. The deepest we ever went, the underwater knot tying is at, I think is at 9 feet.
9 feet. 50. Okay, 50 would be
50 feet is pretty deep.
That's ridiculous.
That's
Yeah,
like
that'd be like your pressure would collapse. The lungs.
Yeah, that's like you're in the second, what is it, atmosphere or whatever it is.
Yeah. Man, it's your interesting story, man. I just keep thinking about it over and over.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to wrap this up with this one final question.
Okay.
Is I wish we can talk, like, keep going on and on with this, but I think this question is the perfect frosting on the cake.
Okay.
Is if everything you've done disappeared and you had left with lost 60 seconds of your life, what's the message to the world that you would give?
Love unconditionally, love without reservations, be vulnerable, chase after whatever it is that you want to do. Don't listen to people the naysayers, the haters, the people trying to discourage you to do something else for the myriad of reasons that they're going to do that. If pick what you want to do, chase after it, and love everybody that you can, no matter what.
Well, Alex, thank you very much for coming on the show. What's next for Alex? Like, where can people find you? Like, what you're doing? You mentioned something about coaching. Please tell our audience, like, where they can reach out to you, so on and so forth.
Yeah, Instagram is probably the best way to get a hold of me. That's just Alex Rogers Coaching. I got a YouTube channel, which is Alex Rogers LFW. I'm on LinkedIn. And then my website is just alexrogerscoaching.com. Those are probably the best ways to get a hold of me. And then we can go from there.
What's next for you, Alex? What's your next goal? Being an ordinary citizen after your...
Yeah, I'm going to continue with my competitive jiu-jitsu goals. I got some big fights coming up. So I'm looking for sponsors and partnerships as I continue to grow and build my presence in the jiu-jitsu scene.
Okay. And what about the family scene? Like, you have kids.
Yep.
And
then I'll just, I'll be with my kids when I'm not training, and summer's coming up, so they'll be away from school and have a break, and looking forward to that, spending some time with them, doing some stuff.
Appreciate you, buddy, by coming by, and I really wish you best for your career and your family and your health.
Thank you so much.
Most important.
Yeah.
And we'll have you again whenever you're in LA. Well, pleasure to have you.
Awesome.
Appreciate it, brother. Thank you.
Yeah.